Hello and welcome, I am the Anonymous Weeb, and in today's video we are going to discuss the importance of love in Chainsaw Man, why it's so integral to everything that happens in the story up until and including the ending, as well as how Fujimoto made certain to tie love into the story of almost every flesh-out character we have to date. But before that, I'd like to ask you a question. If you get it right, then pat yourself on the back. But if you get it wrong, your punishment will be to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to keep up to date with my videos, so your YouTube feed can be filled with videos about Chainsaw Man. So here goes. Which devil was the first to ever injure Denji? I'll give you a moment to think of it, while we get on with the video. So, love. What is love? Well, there is of course several kinds of love, from romantic, to platonic and everything else in between. Chainsaw Man, as a story, shows us a whole spectrum of love, and it's remarkable in a sense that so few people actually bring it up in conversation, as at its core Chainsaw Man is a twisted love story, filled with heartbreaks, unspoken confessions and source activates going on behind the scenes and sometimes in the scenes too. But why is love, an often overlooked part of the story, actually the most important thing? Well, let's get into that. If you were to cast your mind back to the beginning of the story, you'll remember that while Denji was living a life trapped in debt hell, he was still able to chug along, because he had Pochito at his side and because of his dream, both of which involved love in some way. The love which Denji has for Pochito is like how an individual loves their pet or their friend, a desire to make them happy, to put them before themselves and to hold them in high regard. Denji's dream of being with a woman is a more physical type of love, a passion, the lack emotion, and displays Denji's general immaturity and lack of social interactions, as he is unable to think past his baser desires, for a more, what some would say, fulfilling love. Then when Denji and Pochito is all cut up, it is Pochito's love for Denji and his dream which provokes him into making Denji into a hybrid in the first place, so once again it is because of love that Denji is alive at all. But it even goes further than that. Because Denji made a pact with Pochito, to see his dreams, if Denji was to lose that love, the love he has for his dreams, which spurs him forwards, then the contract would presumably break, and Denji would die. Does that sound familiar? Because it should. That is pretty much Makima's entire plan, to break Denji down to the point he can no longer love, be it emotional or physical. But Denji and Pochito aren't the pair where love is a very important factor in their relationship, as well as having massive influence over the story. Aki, Denji and Power have a relationship of platonic love, one which develops naturally over the course of the series, resulting in massive character growth on all sides. We get to see Aki become more relaxed, and even start putting more importance on Denji and Power's life over taking down the Gun Devil, which he previously gave up significant portion of his life just to get a chance at them. We also see Aki start to open up about his feelings and began to move on from his tragic past, as seen with his time at his parents' grave. Instead of being depressed, Power and Denji continued to drag him out of that mindset, something which he acknowledges later when he is sitting watching the snow with Denji while Power sleeps. Aki's character growth is only possible because of the love he develops for those around him, marking it as once again a very important thing in the whole story. But of course, Aki isn't the only one affected by this love. Power is also affected by the love. We see the most with how she is affected after Aki's death, when she and Denji both fall into depression, something that only occurred because of the love they had for him, and once he was gone they felt a hole open up inside of their chest. As love is the greatest source of pain, for when you know love, you can also learn the pain from losing the source of that love. But above all, I think the one person who shows the importance of love above all else in Chainsaw Man is most certainly Makima, a character who receives tremendous amounts of love but at the same time is devoid of it. As we know, Makima was raised presumably by the government and in such a way that she herself was unloved, and unable to give love in anything less than a destructive obsession. Makima's love is something which is tainted and lacking in compassion for those she is forcing it onto. Makima's love is an entirely selfish one, as she only really loved herself and the idea of what she was obsessing over rather than what it actually was. Fujimoto demonstrates with Makima the dangers of loving an idea of someone or something, rather than the person themselves, as well as the pitfalls of loving someone who doesn't return your affection, as seen with Denji, Aki and several others who were manipulated by Makima, but at the same time showed genuine affection towards her. And there is no way to underestimate Makima's importance on the story, as she is rather the driving force behind everything that happens. As I stated before, Chainsaw Man is really just a story about tainted love. But let me know what you think. Is Chainsaw Man actually a story about unobtainable love and the importance of love, or is it just a gruesome display of violence? And in answer to the question I posed at the beginning of the video, the answer is Pochita biting Denji's hand when they first made a pact as a child. Anyway, I've been the Anonymous Weeb and I wish you a good day or night wherever you may be.